This is Bike Control with me, James, and it's a non-weekly roundup show, and this week we haven't got any reviews, we've got very little news, but we do have some stuff in between because this week we're talking Nintendo Switch. Now we're just hours ahead of this massive Nintendo Switch announcement directly from Japan by Nintendo. And we're going to find out a whole bunch of information about the console ahead of its March 2017 release, but I want to give you a short rundown of what I expect from the presentation. Now we all know how much money we'd like to spend on the Nintendo Switch when it comes out, as little as possible. But for those that aren't already queuing up in Tokyo to buy a Nintendo Switch ahead of its release date, we need to find out a solid price. If the price is too much, then few people will purchase at launch. But just right, and people will be happy to go out on a limb and purchase day one, rather than wait for reviews and the inevitable shortage in stock. Now my guess isn't really a hot take, I'd say £249, $279, depending on the peripherals that come with the console. Of course they're going to have some bundles to go with it too, which will have things like the Joy-Con grip, the Pro controller as well, but as long as it's not $599 US,
$599 US,
then I think we're going to be okay. Now we already know that Nvidia are going to be powering the Switch, but what specifically will be inside? Hopefully we'll find out, but reports suggest a custom Tegra X1 chip with the GPU running 2nd gen Maxwell technology. And basically for all you people that aren't complete nerds out there, it's not the tip-top spec, similar to what can be achieved by Sony, Microsoft and PCs, but we're likely to see some excellent looking games. Whilst the more powerful tech is available, Nintendo want to keep the consumer price down as well. So of course higher spec components means a higher price for the consumer and to build it too. There's a suggestion that the Switch will run at about 40% of its total power when it's undocked compared to when it's docked. Now the Switch is rumoured to have a 720p screen, which isn't too high, but the games will look good anyway on the screen, and the fact that it's using 40% of its power when undocked means that you can have a better battery life, and when it is docked it can upscale back up to 1080p and maybe even 4K as well. That really depends on what we're going to see from this Switch announcement. For me it will be great to see around 5 or 6 hours of battery time when the system's undocked. If the games are running at around 60 FPS, then people are going to be happy regardless of the 720p screen. And of course, thanks to Nintendo's astounding polish, it's going to look great anyway. We need to see some information on storage too. Is it going to be a solid set of hard drive space, or is there going to be room for expanding? Will it be touchscreen? Will it have motion controls? Is it VR compatible, as that is such a competitive market at the moment? All these questions need answering. Games, games, games. Now launch games themselves are going to be a massive pull for those that are looking to purchase on day one. And the big question still looms, will we see Zelda at launch? There'll be plenty to whet the appetite of gamers young and old, either at launch or just after, with things like Lego, Sonic, a couple of music games thrown in, and maybe even Skyrim based on those initial trailers too. Now my crystal ball predicts a racing game at launch, but not just any racing game, F-Zero. Fast Racing Neo was a big hit on the Wii U and could be mistaken for a modern looking reskinned F-Zero game. Plus, every Nintendo console since the GameCube has had a racing game alongside it at launch. It's either going to be F-Zero, something similar, or Ridge Racer!
it's Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer! Remember that one?
Keep an eye out later on Friday the 13th, hopefully that's not an omen, for the lesser known Nintendo Treehouse announcement that's going to be happening later on in the day. There'll be some details I'll put below as to when the time zones of this particular announcement's happening. It's inevitably going to go over things like the launch games and what we can expect from these. Probably some gameplay footage as well. That's going to be exciting. Here's a few other points I wanted to bring up just before I let you go. Backwards compatibility, either the games, the peripherals, maybe some attachments that allow emulation when docked. Surely the dock can't just be used for HDMI output and be a charger as well. Every single console since the SNES has had backwards compatibility in some form. Nintendo can't leave this by the wayside. And some information on the social side of things as well. Nintendo haven't been great at multiplayer, so will we see a return of Miiverse or something completely entirely different? Maybe a decent way of adding friends on the system rather than reciting a 16-digit code to each other before you can actually add people as friends. And one final point to bring up with the social side of things as well, will we see a return for Street Pass? It was a massive, and still is a massive feature in the Nintendo 3DS. Will we see a return for that for the Nintendo Switch? Who knows? All we know for sure is that Nintendo has got us pretty hyped for this announcement, and whatever happens during it, it's going to have a big impact on the video games industry and my bank balance as well. My body is very ready for this. Let me know what you want to see from the Nintendo Switch in general, or the announcement in particular, down in the comments section below. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's @TGK_22. I've been James Brallan, and as always, I'll see you next time, if I'm still here.